Hello, everyone. My name is Krystal Marsh, and I am the International Career Toolkit Coordinator here at USIS. And today will be the first in our series of workshops on the ePortfolio. So we are going to talk today a little bit about what the ePortfolio is, how your ePortfolio will be assessed, and then we'll actually poke around in Digication a little bit so you can be a little more familiar with the software. So to begin, let's talk a little bit about the ePortfolio in general. So what is an ePortfolio? As it says here, the ePortfolio is required for all students pursuing an area or global certificate in USIS. The ePortfolio will reflect on the coursework, experiences, and projects you've undergone at Pitt that are most relevant to your certificate. So the ePortfolio will be completed on Digication, an integrative teaching, learning, and assessment software created for students to showcase their learning. And like I mentioned, we will be poking around Digication a little bit today so you can become a little bit more familiar with the software and what it's capable of doing. And the ePortfolio must be completed and submitted prior to the certificate of graduation. I would recommend that you check with your advisors for the specific due date because it will really depend on who your academic advisor is and what center you are getting your certificate from. And your ePortfolio will address certain core issues related to learning outcomes. So this is referring to this document here, which is the USIS Global Learning and Engagement rubric. And this is the rubric that we use to assess all of your ePortfolios. Now, what you're looking at here is the certificate with language requirements. There is certificates without language requirements, but I've included those here because they are all the same requirements, except if you don't have a language requirement, you don't have to worry about the world and heritage language skills. So I want to talk a little bit more about these particular knowledges one by one so you get a sense of what we will be assessing in your ePortfolio. So the first thing we will be assessing is global and regional experience. So as it says in that rubric, this means that the student demonstrates an understanding of contemporary and past challenges facing cultures, societies, and the natural world on local, regional, and global levels, and demonstrates an ability to apply knowledge and skills gained through higher learning to real-life problem solving. And we will see a little bit more when we're actually in Digication how you might start thinking about these different areas. But again, I think it's really good to give a broader understanding of what we will be assessing because there are many different ways in the ePortfolio that you can speak to, for example, this specific knowledge. Interdisciplinary connections is also something we will be assessing. Students can integrate basic facts, methods, or theories from at least two fields of study or perspectives when applying knowledge and skills gained through higher learning. So something you are already really familiar with through the USIS certificate is that there are a number of different skills and disciplines that you can use to gain a global perspective. And so we want you to demonstrate that in your ePortfolio as well. World and heritage languages. Again, this is just for those of us who have the language requirement with our certificate. It demonstrates application of foreign language listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, and you are capable of examining topics or engaging people in the target language. Collaboration and communication. So demonstrates skills related to listening, deliberation, negotiation, consensus building, and productive use of conflict. And we also want to see that you collaborate and work well with others. Diverse perspectives. Student has the ability to recognize the origins and influence of one's own cultural heritage along with its limitations in providing all that one needs to know in the world. So this pertains to topics like race, ethnicity, gender, nationhood, religion, and class. And we are also looking for students to foster curiosity about cultural diversity and other people. Civic and global engagement demonstrates community-based learning through service learning classes, community-based research, volunteerism, or services within the community. And we are looking that you have engaged with communities and the world through coursework, local and international groups, either at Pitt or outside of Pitt, and taking a leadership role in campaigns or projects. And then finally, career readiness. We are looking to see that you can highlight global competencies in a professional environment. And more or less, this is the whole point of the ePortfolio. Our hope is that you can use this ePortfolio as a supplement to job applications and to graduate school applications, or any sort of future goal you may have that would benefit from knowing a little bit more about your USIS certificate and your global perspective. So how do I begin my ePortfolio? We will review the basic functionalities and templates on Digication. So to do this, you will actually go to Digication. When you log in with your PIT username and password, your page will look a little something like this. So this is the home page for Digication. So you will see any portfolio or class that you have in progress, along with My Works, which is where you will actually be creating your portfolio. And then you will also see My Courses and Groups, which should have your particular certificate in it. And this is where you will be submitting your specific ePortfolio. So to create an ePortfolio, what you want to do is click on this plus sign under My Works. As you can see, I have my sample ePortfolio here, and I will be sure to look over that in a little bit with you. But to start your own, you will create this plus sign, and you will see a lot of different options. So the title of your ePortfolio should be your name. You could choose a thumbnail now. I chose a picture of myself in London, but you can also skip that for now and come back to it later. But do choose something here that you think is emblematic of you and your time in USIS. Underneath your ePortfolio, you will see a number of templates from the library. You may not see as many as I have here, but there will be an option to create your ePortfolio through a template, which is a really great way to start. So depending on your certificate, there will be a global studies template. As you can see here, there's an Asian studies template. You will create your ePortfolio using a particular template to make sure that you include everything that is required. So what we're going to do is just click on a template that we want to use for our ePortfolio. So here I'm going to click on the Asian Studies Template Revised, and then click Create. It says it may take a bit for it to create your ePortfolio. It doesn't actually take too long, so we'll just wait a couple of seconds while it generates the new ePortfolio like we have here. So when you actually get to the ePortfolio, this is, as you can see, a basic template that has been created for you by your academic advisor to help you begin actually creating the ePortfolio. So let's take a look at a couple of the tabs or pages that we have here. So first we have an About Me page with a couple of instructions on things to think about. Again, this is for the Asian Studies certificate in particular, but a lot of this stuff will apply regardless of what your particular area of study is. As it says here, the About Me page is a good place to write a short biography of yourself. And we have some suggestions as to what you might be able to include in the About Me section. We have a couple of pictures here that you can absolutely edit and put in your own pictures yourself. We'll talk a little bit more about how to edit particular pages in a bit. So we have an About Me page. We have a resume page. Again, we have instructions on things to think about and things to consider on this particular page. So we have things to consider, like keep the resume brief, but include specific details such as dates, job titles or roles, organization names and locations, achievements, awards, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have a basic template here. So what Emily has created for us is a place for us to highlight our education and particular work experiences, but then also a place to upload our complete resume as we'd like, a little introduction about ourselves. We have a coursework page. So we have some questions here to consider when detailing the coursework that is most relevant to your USIS certificate. So as Emily has written for us here, you must include each course that you took for your Asian Studies certificate and a reflection paragraph about each one. When reflecting about your courses, here are some questions to consider. So how did this course help you understand the questions that define your interest in Asian Studies? What are some overlapping themes, methods, theories, or ideas between this course and other courses you took for your Asian Studies certificate? So on and so forth. And as you can see just from these questions, that these questions and how you answer them are going to contribute to those larger knowledges and competencies that we looked at in the PowerPoint a couple of minutes ago. So what Emily has created for us here in the template is a place for you to write more about your coursework and your course reflections. We have a language page here. So if you do have a language requirement, you can explain a little bit more about that particular experience. And as you see here, this particular template has a couple of different questions that you can answer to explicate a little bit more about your language skills and how they've affected you during your time here at Pitt. We have a study abroad page, which again has a couple of questions that you might be able to answer. A community engagement page, which again has some instructions here on things you might be able to think about as it relates to your time at Pitt and your extracurricular activities or anything along those lines. Research projects, again, instructions here about how you might talk about the research that you've conducted as a USIS certificate student at Pitt. Papers, presentations, and publications. So we ask you to sort of list what that might look like. And then finally, some contact information. So this is a really useful template to start playing around with and editing. So if we start at the About Me page, you'll be able to click right on the page and start typing. So my name is Krystal Marsh, and I am, and go on from there. So you can start typing directly into the document itself, and you can also begin customizing some things in the page. So here, for example, if we wanted a different picture, we can click on this little pen and paper, replace this item, and then there are a number of options here. So let's say that we want to replace the photo. You could upload a file, you can take a picture if you like the way you look right now, and upload it. You can also look at previous uploads. I'm going to go here because I've already put some pictures on Digication. So I'm going to use this picture here. And so as you can see, that has now been replaced. And then I can, in this section here, edit the caption to describe a little bit more about the picture or about myself. There's really a lot of opportunities for you to be creative here. Now, for example, in the background, we have a pretty standard picture of Pitt, but you can change the background for every single page. So in our About Me page, if we wanted to change the background, we could go to this settings menu, and then over here are a number of different settings, but let's select this particular image as the image we want to change, which right now is an image of Pitt from the library. So we can select image and we'll come to the same page and you can upload something. I'm going to go to previous uploads and choose this nice floral pattern I really like. So as you can see, that is now different. So it can be something that speaks to you specifically and you individually. It could be your own personal photos that you've taken on trips. It could be a picture of something that's really culturally relevant to your certificate that has really inspired you. We really encourage you to be creative with what you're able to do here. Now, up here, there are plenty of opportunities to revise. So if we click on this little lock here, it will unlock being able to edit the header. So in the header, we're just going to put our names, but we can also up here in this section edit the background color and the font that we want. And again, just make it really specific to you. I really encourage you just to dabble and play around with all the customization. But you can also add and edit some of these tabs as well. The template here is really um, a base point through which you can build your own ePortfolio. So we want you to engage with all of these different pages, but you can organize it however you'd like, or even add things that aren't here. So if you click on this, the pen and paper, you will see all of the various pages. But you could add new pages as you'd like. So if you have teaching experience, for example, you can write teaching experience, and now you have an entire new page for that. You can also create subpages in some of these pages. So if you want to talk about your teaching experience along with your research projects or along with your community engagement, you will see that there will be a drop-down menu then. So let's just save that, for example. So then when we go to community engagement, you will see a teaching experience tab that then you can go to and create however you'd like. Now, in every section, there is a place for you to add more content. So say in the study abroad section, if you wanted to include a video of something you did while you were studying abroad, you can click on this little plus sign, and there are so many different things that you can add to any individual page. So you can record an audio clip if, for example, you have a picture that has a story that you want to accompany. You can record a video of yourself talking about a specific experience or elaborating on whatever you are writing about in this particular section. Instead of writing something, you could just record a video and put it up instead if you think that would be more personalized. You can also create new sections to write if you do the rich text. There are just so many different things. You can also upload files. So if you want to upload a sample piece of writing, a research project, or a PowerPoint that you're really proud of, you can actually upload the file onto Digication and really personalize that. So this is just to say that there are lots of ways that you can edit and customize your ePortfolio. So everything that you see here is kind of just the beginning. And we want you to use these as inspiration for what you should talk about and how you should approach your ePortfolio. But you really have a lot of freedom to make it your own. You can even move things around on Digication. If you click on this arrow, for example, if I really want to move um, the honors and award section um, over here, can move that around. Just to say that you are not stuck with this particular template, that you can really organize it and specify it however you'd like. Now, in terms of actually publishing and sharing this work, when you click on share, it'll ask you to choose your settings. You probably don't want it private because you want to make sure that the advisor who is reviewing your ePortfolio is able to is able to look at what you're doing. So I would say private within the University of Pittsburgh. And let's go ahead and save those settings. And then from here, we can publish our pages. So when we click on share, we can publish a specific page. So say that I'm only finished with my resume page. I can publish this page, or I can publish pages. So I can choose to publish all of the pages in my ePortfolio. Please make sure that you do choose all of the pages in your ePortfolio so that you do have a complete portfolio when you submit it to your advisor. You can also just click on all pages and publish it, and then it will be available. So if we click on view publish version, obviously I didn't do much editing here, but we'll be able to start looking at what you've created, and this is what it would look like for other people as well. So before we end for today, I wanted to give a quick example of what a complete ePortfolio would look like. So I created my own ePortfolio, as we're going to see here, and I've really customized it to make it true to myself, my own experiences, and the things that I think are most relevant about my global experiences and my professional goals and whatnot. So as you can see, I have a picture of myself that I think is fun and relevant to my area of study and what I would like to do in the future, along with a little about me that talks about who I am, what my goals are, and what my interests are. And then from here, I have a section on research, and I've decided to upload a couple of pictures that I think are really relevant to the research that I do. I talk a little bit about the dissertation that I'm writing. And then I also have here in the section where you can choose whatever it is you want to upload, I've decided to upload a sample paper of mine for people to read if they want to get a better sense of what my research is like and the kind of work I'm interested in. Under coursework, I have a drop-down menu for two of the universities that I've attended for graduate school. So I have a King's College London section, and I have listed here the coursework that I think is really relevant to the career I want and the work that I do today. So I have what that course was, and then a little bit about what that course entailed. So that's my coursework for King's, and then I have here coursework for Pitt. Now, as you can see, I have the same background for all of my sections, but you could change your background for every section. Personally, I liked the way that it looked when it was really consistent, but that's a really individual decision, and by all means, please feel free to change it however you'd like. I have a teaching and experience section. So I have this picture of me in the classroom. I have an example of a syllabus that I've written. And then I also have here included a video of me lecturing in a classroom as well. So there are just so many options for things that you can include on Digication. So a little bit about my teaching experience, a fun picture, a syllabus, and then the project itself that I'm talking about, which here is a lecture that I gave that I happen to have recorded. I have my own global connections page, and I have chosen a series of pictures and then decided to edit them with some writing. So here is me studying abroad as an undergrad. Here I'm in Ireland, and I have just always loved that picture and thought it was super fun. So then talked a little bit about the experience of studying abroad during undergrad. And then I went to go get a master's degree when I was after I graduated. And so here I'm talking about my time at King's College London, and I have a picture here of me with my cohort, and then a more recent picture of me in London, and talking a little bit about how I still like to do global research and have global perspectives in mind when I'm doing my own work. Um, I have a CV here, so I have a section that is just my resume, so you can review it. And then I also have a little about me professionally, which is included in, for example, the Asian Studies template that we were just looking at. I have a sample work page. This is, I think, a useful thing to include if there's a project you're really proud of or something that you think really demonstrates the work that you've done in USIS. Here I have a link to a public essay I wrote, to a chapter of my dissertation, and then also to a event that I moderated. So it's another video that I've embedded that I think gives a good understanding as to who I am professionally and how I like to work. And then finally, in my contact page, I have who I am, how you can contact me, but then I also recorded this video on Digication. Over and reviewing. Look at me. But I'm saying, hey, thanks for reading over my ePortfolio. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or comments you may have. And it's a way to kind of personalize it. Now, again, your ePortfolio probably won't look like this, but I think what this ePortfolio does is demonstrate me personally. I think it does a good job at describing who I am, giving very specific information about my work and the things that I'm proud of. I'm able to share things about my work that you won't necessarily get to see in a standard resume or cover letter, and also speaks to my global experiences and those sorts of things. And so again, your ePortfolio will look very different because you are your own individual. And so I really encourage you to play around with Digication and use the templates provided to you by your academic advisor as a baseline for things. So review the templates, fill out those questions, and then personalize it, make it your own. And then also constantly look at the rubric as well to see how well you are meeting those particular requirements. So this is a real quick overview of what Digication is and how to start playing around with all of these features in Digication. There is a lot to learn in Digication, and I think I know this from personal experience, the best way to learn it is to just go in and start playing around. And if you have any particular questions or concerns, do reach out to your advisor. They absolutely will be able to help you navigate this. But I think that it is more intuitive than it seems like it would be. And as these workshops continue, hopefully you can come with more specific questions or just get a better sense of what these different tools and Digication have to offer. So today was just a basic overview, and then on February 29th, we are going to have our second ePortfolio workshop, which is all about the content. So we are going to talk about how to actually narrativize your experience at Pitt. How do you actually synthesize everything that you've done over the past 4 years? How can you make a case for yourself and your own global perspective? So that will be a lot of what we talk about in the next workshop. And then our final workshop in April will be about customizing your ePortfolio. So we kind of touched on that a little bit here, but I think that it's best to individualize your portfolio to really reflect who you are and your own personal interests and experiences. And that workshop, I hope, will be really useful for you with those elements of the ePortfolio as well. So hopefully this was helpful. Do reach out to me or your advisor if you have any questions at all, and just go and have fun exploring all of that Digication has to offer.